Randy is here with the story now. Randy, what happened?
Dick, there were really two tragedies today. One was seeing the deprived conditions these people lived in for so long, and the other was that when authorities came to take them to someplace better, some of them didn't want to go. Sheriff's deputies, attorneys, and officials from health and social services offices converged on a ranch owned by Dan and Edna Murdock this morning. They were concerned foremost with the boarders. Despite the living conditions, some wanted to stay with the Murdocks, whom they called Mom and Dad.
Mama, why?
Okay.
I want to see Mrs. Murdock for
She'll
a
be
minute.
okay. She's just talking to the sheriff and she'll be okay. Come on.
I want to see Mrs.
Come on, I'll give
Murdock.
you some cigarettes.
You have a cigarette.
What do you think of living here? Is it a good place to live?
Good enough for me. I'm getting along all right.
You like to stay here?
Yeah, I like here, all right.
On previous visits, health officials counted 10 boarders, and Social Security payments indicate there may have been 11. Only 8 adults were found today, and 1 baby. He, too, sensed something was wrong. Officials say, though the scene was heartbreaking, it would have been much worse to leave the people here. Some were sleeping in a chicken coop on top of the manure. Toilets consisted of a hole in the floor, an outhouse, and 1 flush toilet, which dumped its contents out a pipe behind the shack. Fires had damaged the buildings. No one ever made repairs. Lawmen confiscated records to find out what happened to some $2,500 a month the Murdocks collected in rent. They also found several controlled drugs, which the authorities say the tenants took themselves, especially when the Murdocks left them alone for several weeks at a time.
Mrs. Murdock was gone to Arizona for a period of time during the early or late winter months, and the Relief Society then brought food and stuff into them and the surrounding neighbors here brought food and different meals into them so that they wouldn't starve.
Lawmen say the Murdocks were run out of Arizona and came to Genola last November. 2 of the boarders wandered some 25 miles into Provo begging for food, and that's when local authorities discovered the situation. They wanted to shut down the operation for good, so they charged the pair with neglecting, abusing, and exploiting disabled adults.
Randy, a question. Where did all those people get the money to pay the Murdocks?
Well, sometime during the last 15 years, the Murdocks got the right to collect their Social Security checks, which amounted to about $200 per person. And one of the boarders said for that he got a place to stay, and the Murdocks gave him about $7 a week, or $7 a month for spending money.
All right, Randy. Good story. Thank you, Dick. Patrick?